Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to another video. From what I've learned, we all have our struggles and our stories and things that happen in our lives. We learn so much from them. So that is why I decided to share my story with experiencing anxiety and how I have slowly but surely released it in a very natural, very calm, very soothing way, to the point where I feel like it's almost non-existent in my life, which is something that if you had told me that 3-4 years ago, I would never believe you, because in the midst of it, I thought that that was my life. I had gone completely crazy. Experiencing anxiety was very scary, very different, something I hadn't almost heard of before. I freaked out and I didn't understand what was going on in my body, which just, as you probably know, amplified the whole thing and made it worse. People who experience anxiety tend to get into this loop where you really fear your fears. It gets overwhelming and almost feels like it's impossible to handle our own emotions and physical sensations and thoughts. And my heart goes out to every single one of you experiencing this, because I know how it is. I know how sometimes we just think we need to go to a mental institution or check ourselves into a hospital because we're dying. I've been there. When I lived in Brazil was when I started experiencing panic attacks for the first time. I kept hearing stories of how it wasn't safe to live in Brazil, and I was quite not a fragile person, but I was kind of sensitive. At that time, I didn't understand the power that lied in that. I didn't understand how to set boundaries, how to keep my energy clear. Part of it was really fun, but part of it was me crossing my own boundaries year after year after year, not listening to what I really wanted to do, just pushing through because it was the smart thing to do. I have come to acceptance with it all, not regretting it, but it mentally and physically, I pushed myself every day. And this trip to Brazil that I was talking about was my exchange from my studies. One of my first times having a panic attack was at the movies with some girlfriends of mine. I had been out the night before, barely slept. I'd been to school and then we went straight to the movies. And when we came out from the movies, I just felt like I melted into a ball of jello. I was shaking. I couldn't feel my feet, my hands. I felt like this sting in my chest and I thought that I was gonna die. Luckily, my friends, my roommates at the time were so kind, so calm. My friend took me to the ER because we were really worried. They took all the tests, checked everything, and told me that nothing in my physical body was off. This was a panic attack, and take this pill, go home and relax and see how you feel. That is the only time I've taken medication for anxiety. I just took it because I was just like, help me now. I really trusted them. I felt like I just had to be in bed and just be safe inside because I was so scared of the weather. I looked myself in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself. I heard things. Seeing it now, it was probably like part of my spiritual awakening. All these signs, all this connection happening. But I just shut it off and just freaked out completely and thought that I'd gone crazy. Listen to your body. What's it trying to tell you? You're probably not going crazy, and it's probably like a cool message for you to really go for the things that you want to do in your life. It came back and forth in waves during that semester, and I understood that I needed to learn more how to handle that. So that's what I decided to do, which took me on this adventure to learn about my body, my soul, my energy system, exercising, mental health, diet, everything. So that's what I want to share with you today. Now, it's such a different body to be in, and I'm so happy to share that it's absolutely possible to relieve yourself from anxiety step by step. So let's get into the tips. As we know, anxiety and panic in our body is like this heightened state of our nervous system. My focus has been on learning how to calm down my nerves. Basically learning how to get into that parasympathetic nervous system where we're in this relaxed state, where we're resting, our pulse is low, we're digesting well. It's not always easy in today's society because we have so much input, we have social media, we have traffic, loud cars, noises, people to see, packed schedules, everything. But there are a few really handy techniques that I'm going to share with you today. The first really physical technique is a breathing exercise, and it's something that I always do if I feel like my nerves are a bit fragile or if I'm getting into this little panicky mode before I'm gonna sleep, for example, this just completely relaxes the whole system, and it's really amazing. So what you do is that you place these 2 fingers on your forehead, like your third eye, and then you place your thumb on your right nostril. You breathe in through the left one, you hold, you block the left nostril, and you breathe out through the right. And then you do the opposite. You breathe in, block, breathe out. So it's called alternate nostril breathing, and there's tons of videos on YouTube explaining how you do it, why it works, and it has something to do with connecting your left and right side of the brain so that you're in this harmony and this flow state in your mind and body, and it's really, really amazing. Try it, do it for a few minutes if you're feeling like fragile or just to calm down, maybe even in the morning. Another thing that I love to do if I'm feeling very like airy, buzzy and busy, I do a meditation that I learned. I call like roots meditation. So what I do is that I lay down, I visualize that my nervous system has all these like wires, and they're really like lots of wires, and they almost look like roots. They go through the material that I'm lying on, all the way through earth, into the center of the earth. My nerves get refilled from earth's energy until I feel like I'm replenished with earth energy. Now I totally went into the meditation sitting here, and then I kind of slowly withdraw my nervous system again back into my body. Everything comes into place. I feel super grounded, replenished. Thank you, Else, for teaching me that. Another thing that I really love to do is to get the busy thoughts out of my head, because our anxiety is triggered by something. It can be a single thought that makes you panic a little bit, and it's hard for us to catch because we're not so aware of everything that we think. And we have something called our subconscious mind, where they say that 95% of what we think is subconscious. So it's no wonder how we can't catch it all. A few different ways to do it is to journal, and there's something about writing by hand that apparently connects your brain to your hand, gets the energy flowing in a different way. But for me, I usually type on my phone because I always have it with me, or my computer. I just plot everything down there. I don't judge how I write. There's no style, no grammar, no nothing. Really, like all the weird things that we think, all the shameful things, freaky things I'm scared of, I just get it all out. I also do record sometimes. If I don't feel like typing, I just do like a voice memo on my phone. And oh my god, it helps so much. I did it even a few days ago when I was out for a walk. I was feeling like something was really off. And while talking or while typing, I get so much awareness of what's actually going on, what is actually bothering me. We tend to hold on to so much, and we take responsibility, and inside our system we're judging one thought, we're judging how we feel, or even we're not letting ourselves feel how we really feel, because we've been taught that, like, get yourself together, or that when we don't feel them and release them, they get stuck in our system. And they kind of build up over time, adding more and more thoughts and feelings to it, and sometimes it just bursts, which can be this panic attack, or it can be this like anger or emotional attack. You know, they say emotions are energy in motion. They're supposed to just like flow through. We're supposed to just feel something, be sad, cry about it, and then it's over, and we feel so relieved after. We can even set aside time during the day to just like close our eyes and really connect with our hearts and really check in on what we really feel. Because sometimes we just feel, we don't understand what we feel. We just feel something and it's off, and then we don't take time to really investigate it and let it flow. Another way to get out of our busy minds is, of course, getting into our body. And by that I mean finding some way that you like to move your body, because it shifts our focus completely. Not like a distraction, but it just, because sometimes we float up and we tend to be in our heads all the time. It's a very fine balance, because sometimes that's not what we need at all. I know for myself, I had a really hard time doing like high pulse exercises when I experienced a lot of anxiety because I was so scared of having that racing heart that I just freaked out. So I couldn't really run or do like really strenuous exercise. So that was the perfect time for me to do more slow exercises, maybe just like dancing slowly or doing Pilates or just doing something soothing, you know. An exercise or a body movement can be so subtle and really so helpful. And we know how it also releases endorphins, and it's great for our hormones and our balance and just getting the blood flowing, which transports everything into our body, all the nutrients, vitamins, minerals, which make us feel better. It takes some practice to get to know our bodies. It's really, really important to learn how to move for our bodies and not like from a place of trying to look a certain way or like really pushing ourselves to doing something the body really doesn't want to do. During these like journaling or writing or recording exercises, try to look at what actually triggered the anxiety at the time. It can be so helpful in learning our patterns, learning what we're really scared of. Usually it is something from our childhood. When we are age 0 to about 7, we are like taking in everything and trying to adapt to the world so hard, and that's where we build almost all of our beliefs, and then we can spend, you know, the rest of our lives trying to release all those limiting beliefs that we pick up. So that's also where we might pick up like rules on how it is to be a human or what we are allowed to feel and to not feel. And looking at our triggers can be really helpful in getting ahead of a situation and being there for ourselves when we know that a trigger might come. Like something might say something that feels really awful to you, but if you are aware, you can already be there for yourself and be like, hey, we've got this and we can get through it together. And that's such an amazing feeling. As I talked about with my story, it was a lot about self-trust, and that I kind of broke my own trust because I continually did things that I didn't really want to do. It wasn't aligned for me. It wasn't what my higher self really wanted. Even though I'm super grateful and thankful for everything I've done now, it's shaped me to the human being that I am and given me, honestly, this amazing life that I have now. Learning to trust my own body has been one of my biggest, I would say, focuses this year. Teaching my body how to trust me, basically. When we make decisions, who are we making them for? Are we living our lives for ourselves, or are we living for people? Like we usually say, like, people think, and then we just group together people in this clump of opinions that we don't really know is true. Learning to live for ourselves and not for our parents or our friends or our classmates or anything is so important, and it means that we will unfold ourselves in life and like live our best lives, live our fullest, most vibrant lives. And we are so unique, so different, so not looking to what someone else is doing, which I know is a struggle when we grow up, because then we're like a bit insecure and we don't really know ourselves. But I just feel like we need to take those opportunities because we're all here for such different purposes, and when we all get into our unique selves, it's like the puzzle of the world of humanity will fall into place, in my opinion. That's another video. Our diets, what we consume in terms of input. So firstly, about our diets, I have completely changed my diet the past years. I have really learned about nutrition and started to eat plant-based. Not saying it's for everyone, but for me that was something that really helped me, because our whole system is connected, you know, so our minds are really connected with our gut, and if things don't flow in our body, they tend to affect our minds as well, and the other way around. I needed to learn how to eat in a way that was really nourishing for me and that felt good while eating and afterwards. Especially in our diets, I am going to mention stimulants like coffee, green tea, black tea, alcohol, cigarettes, these types of things, like energy drinks that are like pick-me-ups and boosters, even matcha. If you are struggling with anxiety, I would recommend you to try to avoid stimulants for a while and see how your system feels, because I used to drink coffee, and after a while I just figure out that I don't even like coffee, and I'm just drinking it because it's something that people seem to do when they grow up. And I stopped drinking coffee and I felt so amazing. At first it was hell, because you get this like headaches, you feel really tired because you're getting off actually an addiction. I'm not like anti-alcohol, but just see how it flows in your system, how you feel the day after, how you feel while drinking it. Even just swapping from coffee to matcha, which is still an energy booster, it's really, really much better for the system, because it doesn't give you this spike of energy and then completely flattens out. I still drink matcha, I still drink cacao, but I really know how to do it, and I know to do it during the daytime. The last thing I want to say kind of sums it all up. What is the sign in my body trying to say? Because it's not like the body just aches and gets stressed and all of this just for fun, because the body naturally is so healthy, so in flow when we give it what it wants, when we take care of our emotions, our nervous system, our digestion, our everything, things that we do, what we think, what we're like consumed with from the outside world is affecting us. So our bodies try to give us this nudges, like at first it comes slowly, like hey, maybe like a little sore neck, like okay, maybe you're a bit overworked, and then a headache, and oh shit, anxiety, which is like a heightened level of nerves and fear. So when we know what our bodies are trying to tell us, we can handle it so differently. It's really like a huge master teacher to get to know our systems, and it's a gift that we get as humans. We learn to know ourselves and to know what affects our bodies and minds, and it's such an amazing journey, because all of a sudden you can see anxiety or pain as teaching you something, rather than you being a victim of something that you don't understand from the outside world, because we are creators and we create it all. We can take back the power, get a hold of the situation, and we can heal. We can heal 100% from anxiety. I want to mention also getting help, going to therapy or going to like an energy person, psychiatrist, anything that works for you. I have done a lot of self-development, a lot of meditation, and it has all taken me to a really, really good place. I've had a mentor, which I've worked with weekly, and the more I have connected to my true self, with the help of these amazing people, which I can share with you if you want, the better I have felt. And like, we are humans and we don't understand everything about ourselves, or like the spiritual parts of ourselves, our energetic body, and we all see it in different ways. So I think getting help from the outside is super, super valuable. Not just to talk, but you know, people can really affect your whole energy field. So I would like to say in the end here that one of my other focuses has been just really like, how can I enjoy the most today and have the most pleasurable day while tending to myself and validating how I feel. And the combination of those two has been so good, in addition to all the other tips that I've talked about that I've been doing. It's gotten me into this state of like really appreciating my life, experiencing really magical things. So that's all from me today. I have so much love for you. If you have any comments, any feedback, or any questions, feel free to comment everything below. I'm so sure that you will get through this. You will have such a big relief, and you will one day look back and think like, oh my god, I never thought I would get to the point where I am now. So thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon.